Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I want to share with you guys 6 technical knowledge that you might not know. So most of it are quite basic, so that's why I'm planning to do a part 2 to this. So if this video gets a lot of support, I will do a part 2. But enough talking and let's get into the video. So the first thing is the spawn chunks. So I believe if you play Minecraft long enough, you will definitely know about the spawn chunks. So the spawn chunks are essentially a 21 by 21 chunk that will be always loaded. It doesn't need player to load them, and they will load themselves. And where they are located is quite easy to find, especially in 1.14. So let me just kill myself. So this is where I spawn, and you just press your F3 and G and you will see the chunk boundary. And in 1.14, the spawn chunks are actually generated equally, so that means if you spawn in this chunk, this will be the center of the spawn chunks. So if you just go to all 4 directions by 9 blocks, so 1, 2, 3 and so on, and that is where the spawn chunks are. And there is also a layer of lazy chunks around the spawn chunks. And a lazy chunk means a non-entity processing chunk, which is a chunk that don't process entities. So that means like pig, cow, creeper or armor stand won't be loaded. Only redstone components or water will be processed, and things like entities won't be processed, and that doesn't count towards the mob cap, and they also don't move in the chunks. So the next thing is chunk unloading priority. So chunks actually have priority level for them to unload. So that is how permaloaders are built. So they will build something like this that shoots an item through the nether portal. So on the other side, the items will fly out of the nether portal, and they will send the items back to the overworld, and that will keep the chunks in the overworld side and the nether side to be loaded. And by doing that, they will load the chunks in the nether that are priority 0, and chunks that have priority of 0 is only at the diagonals. So if the chunk have a priority 0, the game will try to unload that chunk first, and then the chunks that have priority 15 will be unloaded, and the game will actually try to unload 100 chunks in one tick. So by artificially loading the priority 0 chunks, and the game will keep trying to unload the chunks back, but our chunk loaders will keep loading those chunks. So that means the other chunks don't have a chance to be unloaded, and the game will try to keep unloading the chunks that are priority 0. So the next thing is actually pretty interesting. So if you push a line of slime blocks like this by powering this sticky piston, the slime block will actually be updated from the farthest block to the closest. So that all happens in, I believe, in one take, but they still update from the farthest block to the closest. So this is actually quite a useful thing to know, especially if you like to play with flying machines or use them to automate things, and you can sometimes use that to your advantage. And the next thing is mob spawning range and also the despawning range. So this is quite easy. So if you, the player, stands right here, and the mobs won't actually spawn in a 24 blocks of radius. So it is in a spherical shape, and every mobs can't spawn in your 24 blocks of range. And for the despawning, it's 128 blocks in radius again, so it's also a spherical shape. And mobs that are outside of that 128 blocks of radius will be despawned. So the fifth thing is the mob cap. So the mob cap is another thing that is designed to stop lag. That's because if you have too many entities in your world, your computer can process them, like if there are too much, and the mob cap prevents that from happening. So the mob cap for the hostile mobs is 70, 10 for the passive mobs, 15 for the ambient mobs and also bats, and 5 for the sea creatures and squid. And those mob caps multiply by 2 if you have 2 players, and if you have 3 players, that will multiply by 3, and if you have 5 players, that mob cap will multiply by 5. And this last one is about game ticks. So the game actually runs on ticks, and there will be 20 ticks per second for the game to run, and that number will change if there is too much lag, and your game will actually run slower. So the tick is responsible to run the whole game. So, and for the redstone ticks, it's actually game ticks divided by 2. So 2 game ticks equals to 1 redstone tick. So for the repeaters, it will have 2 game ticks of delay. For the pistons, they have 3 game ticks of delay. So for the comparator and the repeater, it's 2 game ticks of delay, so 1 redstone tick of delay. For the pistons, it's 3 game ticks of delay, so 1.5 redstone ticks. And for the torch is 2 game ticks. So that is the game ticks and the redstone ticks explained. And unfortunately guys, this is the end of the video. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. And if you'd like to see more, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any future contents. And for the meanwhile, I'm Froxty, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!